Okay, now we're recording. All right, take your circle, put your left leg through the circle, one handle behind your knee, lay down your head into the mat and turn your head right and left. Feel if you're tense in your neck. Then keep your leg in the air with one hand on the circle. Take your other hand behind your head into your neck. And if you feel that your neck is making like a bridge, like a nice half moon bridge, grab the back of your skull and pull that skull upward and flatten your neck down into the mat and put your hand back there and feel it and realize, oh, I could probably flatten a little bit more someday, but right now that's good enough. So that is a sensation when I do that of my chin kind of tucking inward towards my throat as if I'm trying to make a double chin. Now I'm going to keep that alignment of my neck as I straighten and bend my left leg, keeping your knee directly over your pelvis so that you don't work too much on the stretch. You're just looking for loosening up the back of the leg. And then one more time, just getting it to do something else besides what you did all day. And then we bring the left leg down to the floor, the right leg into the circle. Keep your neck nice and long. You can check it again. And then we go, holding onto the circle, we go up and down with the foot, straightening out the leg, looking for the resistance in the back of the leg. Do you feel it nearer the knee? Do you feel it in the middle of the muscle, just across the whole thing? Does it result in trying to get your low back to fall into the mat? Please don't let that happen. You're isolating your leg from your back. Taking that leg out of the circle, you're going to put the circle down by the side for a moment and take your arms out by the side. We're going to do a little rotational stretch before we begin. Knees are bent and feet and knees are touching together. You're going to take your right knee over the top of the left. Let the legs fall over towards the right. You're in the inside of your left foot, holding the position on the mat. Your head is turning towards your left, and you might feel some length. Keep your abdominals a little bit engaged. I don't want you to super arch your back here. You've got a flattish back in the low back area. And I'm feeling a stretch in the upper hip on the left side. And then I bring the legs back to center and settle in the sacrum and SI joints. And we're going to take the right leg off, put it next to your left one, settle in the pelvis, take the left leg over the top of the right. The legs are going to go to the left. You're on the inside of the right foot. The head is turning to the right. And notice the feeling of the stretch in the right hip. Upper hip near the waist. Your abs are held just a little bit. So you want to make sure you're not just using your back muscles and not having your abs balanced. And then bring the legs back. Hold the legs right exactly where they are. You're on one foot. Continue staying there, and then let the legs fall to the right as your head turns to the left. This is a different place of stretch. This is a little bit lower down in the hip, maybe in the leg where the glute is, but I don't feel this near my waist. You're going to come back to center, undo your legs, cross the right over the left, and then let the legs fall to the left instead of the right here, and your head turns over. So these are two different ways to do the stretch, one with the leg on top and one with the leg on the bottom. And you feel a different place in your body. Both are valid, both are very good. And this is just a waking up to see how stiff your body is today. So we're going to do a little bit of pelvic curling before we do our regular bridges. So bring your hands to your pelvis, your fingertips on your leg line, your thumbs at your waist. As you pull your belly in, your waist goes downward into the mat, imprinting the back, and your pubic bone lifts up, and you should feel where your fingers are kind of pulling a little bit closer to your navel. And then go back to neutral. This is a pelvic tilt. We go again, pulling in the belly, tilting the tailbone up, sometimes known as a tuck of the tail, otherwise also known as a posterior tilt. So we're thinking about where your thumbs are. That's at your waist. That's called the top of the pelvis. When you pull in your belly and tip your tailbone upward, you're pressing the top of your pelvis backwards, which is why it's called a posterior tilt of the pelvis. They're using the top of the pelvis as reference. Go back to neutral, and we go again, pulling in the belly to make that tip happen, to imprint the back and to open up the spine. Stay there with that tilt. The heels are still dug in. The arms are going down by the sides of the hips. Take a breath. And on the exhale, continue to curl up the pelvis, press on the heels, and lift up the pelvis to the ceiling, opening your hip line, squeezing your glutes. Take a breath. On your exhale, drape the spine downward into the mat, trying to relax your shoulders and your arms by working really hard on your legs and your abs. Relax to neutral, put the feet on the mat. We go again, heels dug in, take a breath, curl with the abdominals first to imprint the back, and then pressing on the heels, lift off. The second one should be smoother. Hold there as you breathe in, and exhale, start to drape down the body, articulating your spine, feeling fluidity, low back trying to stretch down, neutral spine. We start again. Lower the feet for a moment, bring up the toes again, take a breath for prep, exhale, draw in the belly, pubic bone up, push pubic bone to ceiling, pressing on the feet, inner thighs are working, abs are working, squeeze the glutes and the hamstrings, breathe in, and exhale, start to drape down, try to relax your throat, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, don't relax your glutes or your abs, low back, neutral pressure. We go. Last one this way. Relax the feet for a minute, pull the toes up, flex those ankles, and curl using the abdominals, then the glutes and hamstrings peeling off the mat. Stay there as you breathe in, and exhale, roll down through your spine. Knees to chest, one at a time. Hold behind your knees or on top, it doesn't matter. Let's rock like a log sideways on the back. Notice if you feel a little different pressure on the low part of the body that's touching the mat, which is kind of, I feel as though I'm rolling from one sacroiliac joint, that's your SI joint, to the other. And I'm kind of resting on where that joint is. It's not really a ball and socket. It can get jammed and uncomfortable, so we're just massaging that. And also in the shoulders, I feel like I'm loosening up my back here. Place your feet on the mat. We're going to do 4 more bridges with the circle in the air and on our full foot and in neutral spine. So reach the circle, holding onto the circle on both handles. Reach your arms upward to the ceiling, feeling how the arms have come out of the shoulder sockets, and you feel like the place that's imprinted on the mat is at your spine. And then when you pull the arms back into the sockets of the shoulders, the shoulder girdle flattens and broadens from outside tip of your shoulder to the outside tip of the other. And you've got a nice wide support base. We reach the ceiling again, undoing that support base and feeling it's just the center of the spine that's on the mat, and then, or maybe the muscles just on either side of the spine. And now we're going to pull back the shoulder blades and the arms into the sockets, widening the blades. Feel how that happens. So sometimes when I ask you to have shoulder distance apart, do that one more time, reaching up. When I ask you to have shoulder distance apart, sometimes the shoulder distance is this narrow as the circle is. But when I bring my shoulders back into the mat and square off, the shoulders are actually getting wider. My arms are no longer parallel. The circle is actually too narrow for the width of my shoulders. I want you to feel that. There is a difference in how your shoulders are and the width of your arms. So we go up again, narrowing the shoulders or narrowing the arms, hollowing out the chest, and then bring the shoulder blades back and make them stable and wide. Bring legs back to ready to go for bridge. Do not move the circle. Take a breath. This won't be hard. And exhale, press on the feet. Feel the weight in the back of the legs and push the pelvis up to the ceiling, keeping your shoulders broad. Breathe and exhale. Hinge back down from that wide shoulder girdle into neutral landing. Breath again for prep. Exhale, press on the feet and push the pelvis up to the ceiling, opening up your hip line. Take a breath, creasing at the hip line. Lay down the sacrum tailbone area. That is a gentle touch first because I don't want my low back to go into the mat here. Neutral spine bridge, we go again. And wide shoulder girdle, press up on the feet. Should be easier now. The engagement of the legs is there for you. Take a breath and exhale, come down, unhinging. And we go, breath again for preparation. Exhale, we go up. Hold there, take your breath, and exhale, come back down. Leave the arms here, raise one leg to tabletop, and then the other, keeping that shoulder girdle broad and wide. Twist over to the right as you breathe in. Don't go so far, you lose your left shoulder. Exhale, come back to center. Keep the gaze into the circle. We go to the left as you inhale, oblique test. Exhale, pull them back. Twist the legs over to the right as you inhale, and exhale, bring to center. And to the left as you breathe in, and exhale to center. 2 more sets. We go right, breathing in, exhale to center, go to the left, breathing in, and exhale to center. Turn your circle around, hold on one handle, and place both feet into one of the handles of the circle. Let the circle, or rather pull on the circle so that forces your knees to bend a little bit, and then push the heels to the ceiling, straightening out the legs a little bit more. Pull in, see if you can make this. See if you can get a straight leg. It may not be possible. Go for straightening the leg. Even if you can't fully straighten, if your proportions are such that it's hard for you to reach the back of your legs, or rather to reach your toes while your legs are straightening, don't worry, just work for loosening them up. And last one, take the circle off from your feet, keep your legs in the air and point your toes. Bring the circle back over your chest and straighten your knees as much as you can. If this is effortful in your hip, I'm going to have you soften your knees a little and bring your legs a little closer to your face so there is a gentle bend of the knee. Twisting both legs over to the right, weigh a little bit more on your obliques. Do not let your left shoulder go. Feel the feet staying together and test that left oblique. Pull back to center. To the left with the legs, the right oblique low down by the pelvis is going to be taxed here as you try to keep the right shoulder from moving. And then exhale to center. Don't worry about how far you go. It's the engagement of the muscle I'm interested in, not how far can you go. That's dependent a lot on flexibility in your spine that sometimes you're just born with. So this is effort. This is work. These are muscles you have some affect on. You can change what your muscles are doing. Can't change much in the kind of skeleton and connective tissue you're born with, but we can do a lot with what we have. We go over to the right, keep those left obliques working on the pelvis, come back to center to the right, to the left, breathing in, right side obliques, come back to center. One foot down, other foot down. We're going to strengthen our forearms today using the circle to support our heads in chest lift and chest lift with rotation. Place your head through the circle, one of the handles at the base of the skull, and let your head settle into this little cushion, this little pillow. Keep your hands at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position on your circle. Use your arms and shoulders while pulling the shoulders down. See if you can suspend your head off. So let's do that again. I think I like how I did that this time. So usually I tell you to keep your shoulders down while we have gone into the exercise. We're going to start with the shoulders down. So pull the shoulders down while your head is resting into the handle. You should feel some work there. And now just lift the head slightly off, keeping that shoulder where it is. Curl the chest forward towards your navel, towards your knees. Stay there as you inhale, and then exhale. Lower yourself back to the floor. Relax the grip on your circle for a moment. Hold on to the circle again. Pull the shoulders down, and exhale, curl chest forward towards your knees. Stay there as you take your breath, and exhale, roll back down. A small move, profound work in the abs. Release your fingers. Grab on again, hold the head up, and then exhale, curl forward towards your knees. Stay there as you take your breath, and exhale, roll back down through your spine, and release your fingers. Grab on, lift the head a little bit, and exhale, imprint the back, keep the shoulders pulling down. Forgot to tell you that there. Stay there, inhale, and keep the shoulders down here as you roll back down. Release the fingers, and now as you hold on, pull the shoulders down, support the head, and curl upward towards your knees. Stay there as you inhale, and exhale, lower. We're going to go 3 more. Release the hands, grab the circle, lift the head, pull the shoulders down, and curl up. Stay, breathe in, and exhale, lower back down. Release your fingers. They're getting tired now in the forearms. Hold on to the circle, pull the shoulders down, raise the head, and pull up the chest towards your knees with your abdominals, not by pulling your head forward. Stay there, inhale, and exhale, lower. Release the fingers for last one. Shake out the hands for one few seconds here. We're going to take hold of the circle again, and we have to be here for a while. So support the head, shoulders down, and curl upward towards your knees. Stay there, breathe in. Upper body over to the right, exhaling. Come through the center, inhale. Over to the left, exhaling. Come through the center. Feel like you are a metronome. You're not lingering, you're just touching and coming through the center as you inhale. The rate of movement from one side to the other is the same, depending upon whether you're coming from the right or the left. It's the same. And we exhale to the left. Come center, inhale, exhale to the right. Come center, inhale, exhale to the left. We've got 2 more sets. Work it through with your arms. They are fatiguing. Center, breathe in. We're not going super slowly. Come through the center. Last set, exhale right. Come center, exhale left. Come center, lie down. Release the poor forearms. Oh my goodness, that was a little bit of work on holding on like that. Ay, 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 ay. So let's open the fingers and realize we could work harder no matter where we are. Let's just take that as a moment of exhaustion. All right, so we're going to put the circle down over the top of the knees and press lightly out on the circle. So you feel like your inner thighs are wide, or your legs are wider than they normally would be on any kind of bridge that we do. But you're just going to push out slightly on the edges of the circle, just so you feel engagement there. We're going to do the 100 with the legs down. Take a breath for preparation. Close your fingers together. Exhale, curl forward towards your knees, imprinting your low back into the mat, and pump your arms, reaching long with your arms. Inhale. Exhale, keep engagement of the outer hips. Inhale. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. Chin in towards your throat. Back of the neck is long, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arms are reaching along sides of the body. Keep reaching long for the feet. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. 5 more sets. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more sets. Keep curling up. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. 1 more set. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. Take the circle off. Bring it back. Lay down the head. Lengthen out the legs all the way into the floor. And squeeze your glutes to open up your hip line from that knee or that hip fold. Getting a little tense in that hip joint. Let's take a little stretch. We're going to do single leg circles before we do our abdominal series. Put your left foot into the circle and see if you can straighten your leg and still hold on to the circle. Let's take the leg a little bit across the body. Notice when the hip would like to come off the floor on the left side. See if you can lengthen the muscles instead of bringing the bones off the mat. If we go slowly enough, you probably won't trigger your IT band. It will let go. And then that's pretty good range. If I were to get there on my own, I'm not sure I could, but that is a kind of a passive range. Bring your leg back up to straight up, and then open your right arm out to the side, and we're going to let that left leg just go outward to the left. Don't think of turning it out much in the hip, maybe a little bit in the hip socket, you can turn it out. Notice the point at which the right hip begins to lose imprint into the mat. So that's about it for me while I have a passive stretch. And we come back in, and let's take your left foot out and your right foot into the circle, and then bend it a couple times because it was down on the floor, and then straighten it all the way and see if you can hold on here. And then taking the circle in the left hand, the right arm is still out to the side. We're going to bring that right leg across the body to the left. Notice the release I notice a release right away in the glute leg area, right at that joint. I notice there's a giving of the muscle. That's probably my glute. It's exercised quite a lot. We tend to stretch it quite a lot. So it's a pretty responsive muscle. We use it a lot. And now I'm feeling resistance at my end range. And then I'm going to bring the leg back to center, to top. Change hands on the circle to the right hand, the left arm out to the side. And let the leg go out to the side with a very small turn out from the hip. And you have more than your leg here weighing on the right side. You have the circle in your right hand. So it's really hard to keep that left hip anchored. It's probably easier when we actually do the exercise. But it can release, the right inner thigh can release a little bit more than I think it could. So now we bring the leg back up to the top. We're going to start with the right leg into the circle. Put your magic circle down by the side. Remember to lengthen out the back of the neck. In fact, today I'm going to fold up my mat a little bit and place it underneath my head as a little bit of a cushion. And that just gives me a little release in my neck and my upper traps for staying on the floor for this long. Okay, so arms by the side. Bring your leg down to 45-degree angle and really point your foot as if you're reaching for the corner of the ceiling and the wall. And then bring that leg straight up towards your head. If you wish to make this exercise more challenging and fire your quad, flex your right foot. Keeping the knee really straight, bring the leg across the body to the left shoulder, then downward to the right foot, exploring in a slow range of motion, or a slow speed, your range of motion across the body, down to the foot. I can go pretty far out to the right as I bring my leg to the right and then back up to the head. 4 with a little more speed. Across, down, up and around. Breathe however you want. The objective here is to keep the shoulders anchored, to keep the hip anchored, the left foot anchored, and not to move the whole torso as the leg is moving in the socket. One more time, we circle around, bring the leg back up. Slow reversals. To the right shoulder first. Open it. Feel how left has to stay anchored down to the left foot, up the left side. Your quad is definitely working on the upper arc. Your chin is still in your throat. Don't let your neck tense because you're working hard. 4 fast circles, open, circle around and back up. Open to the right shoulder, circle. See if you can control your torso. 1 more circle, open, down to the foot, back up to the top. Bend the knee. Pull that leg into the chest, set the foot down and slide that leg away and keep that hip nice and open. We're going to bend the left leg into the chest, straighten that leg up to the ceiling for starters, and then release it and put the hands by the side. Then point the foot at 45-degree angle towards the corner of the ceiling and the wall. Nice long back neck. Pull the leg up towards your head. Choose pointed or flexed foot across the body to the right shoulder. Down towards your foot, back up the left side, back to the head. Across and down and out, whoops, hitting my cabinet, and up. And faster, across and down and circle around. Still hitting. And we go across, down and circle around. 2 more. Good, reversing circle. Left shoulder, outward, downward. Right leg, right shoulder, upward, open, down to the foot, up the right side, back to the head. Faster, 4. We go. Keep the foot flexed or pointed. You choose. 1 more. Bring the leg up, bend the knees, slide the leg down on the mat, and then release the fold of your mat because we're going to be doing more abdominal things. And it'll unfold by itself. Bring your knees towards your chest. Stretch out your back for a moment, hugging onto your knees. Really get a good release in your low back. And then holding onto the circle. We're going to do double leg stretch with the circle. We're going to do 1 with the body down, just the arms going away and the legs going away. This is where you should stay if you're not lifting your head. So we go. Legs to 45, arms back to the back wall. And then we exhale, crunch, hovering circle over shins. Now bring your head up if you are inclined to do that. For the regular double leg stretch, arms and legs away, exhale, crunch. And arms and legs away and exhale, crunch. Remember not to take the circle too far back. It will lower your upper body backwards to the mat. If you keep your head down, your challenge is more low abdominals. Keep the back stable on the mat. 2 more, we'll go for 10. 1 more. Hover, circle, or put it down. Roll sideways in your head and your body to massage your back. We're going into single leg stretch. I'm getting a cramp in my foot, so I will try to resolve that. Let's go with chest hovering over shins, or rather circle over shins. Chest is hovering up. Extend your left leg away, and we go 1 and 2. We're staying put, just moving the legs. Precise placement of legs. Don't throw your legs out. Don't make your knees change from parallel to turn out. Keep it parallel. Keep going. Keep going. 2 more sets. We'll go for 10. 1 more and rest. Whew. Okay, now crisscross. Same legs, upper body. Neck gets a break, but it's still bloody hard. So hands at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Bring your head into the circle, upward towards your navel. Bring your right leg to tabletop. Left leg goes out towards the, away from you, and cross upward to your right thigh for your setup. Go to your left. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3 and 4. Keep going. 5. Keep crossing over. Little exhale puffs. Keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fatigue is setting in. 9, 10. That was 10 sets of that. That was really good. We usually do so many. Okay, we're going to do one more exercise of the 5, the series of 5 abdominals. We're going to do hamstring pull 1. That does not support your head. If you need to have your head supported, you can do this with one arm reaching for your calf, the other arm supporting your head. So we're going to stretch out both legs. Right leg is up to the ceiling, left leg is down to the floor. The toes are pointed. The heel is just touching the floor. Pulse the right leg in 2 times with 2 little exhale puffs. Switch to the left. Switch to the right. Exhale, exhale, switch. Switch, keep going. Switch. Switch. Switch, keep the knee really straight as you pull it in. Count 10 more. 1, 2. Point those toes. Reach the other leg long. Feel the hip working. Feel it opening. This is our last one. And rest. Ooh, neck is tight. Let's roll sideways on the neck. Okay, let's roll over to the side. We're going to take a little stretch on our quads for a moment because that was a lot of work on the hip flexor and the quad. So I'm going to use my circle. I'm going to use my bottom foot in the circle. I'm on my side. I don't care which it is. My bottom foot is going behind me and I'm holding it there. Then I'm going to use my arm. You can use your hand on your ankle. Most of you can reach your ankle. I cannot because of my knee, so I'm using this tool, but it's the bottom leg. I'm pulling in towards my butt. The top leg is going towards on the floor in front. And you're going to turn your head toward, crook your underneath arm and turn your head towards the bending leg, the bottom leg, which should be behind you. And I feel a nice stretch in my quad and my hip flexor here. So remember, I see Nicole doing a nice job of her hip flexor stretch. You want to make sure that you open the hip before you pull on the foot to bring it close to your butt. Otherwise, your hip flexor won't be part of the stretch. Let's go to the other side. So we're just going to lie down on the side. We're going to stay on this side and do a little bit of glute work. And then, yeah, we'll stay on this side on the floor. Okay, I'm going to bend my underneath knee and hook my circle there. Hook your hand onto your ankle if you can. And then the top leg is forward. I'm going to crook my underneath arm and just cradle my head with it and turn my upper body towards the back, towards the shoulder of the arm that's pulling on the foot. And I definitely feel in this one a great big stretch in my front hip on my bottom side. So this is a really nice way to get both of these and you get a nice little rotational stretch as well. Okay, so now let's take the circle into the front and both legs are going to be together to start with. Let's be on the left side. I'm sorry, I should have guided the side so I can guide the rest of the exercise. So my right hand is going to be on the top edge of the circle. You can, if this is tough, Nicole, for your hand, put your forearm on the circle for your wrist. So it's not at your pesky part of wrist, so you're not having to use your hand. If it were on that, we may be not on that side yet. I'm not sure which side you're on. So we're going to take a breath and press on the circle, raise both legs slightly off your mat. Right here, you're pretty much on balance. There isn't a real effort to keep your legs up in the air, particularly your obliques are working, but you're not thrown off balance front to back. It's going to change in a moment. Your right leg is coming up slightly off your left foot, but your left leg is still in the air. You're going to swing the right leg forward, pressing on that circle to not fall forward. Lift the leg when you can't move it anymore, lower it back, and then bring it to the back behind your body, squeezing your abs. Bring it forward, breathing in, release the tailbone, and lift the leg, lower it, and pull it to the back. Using the right arm in the shoulder, lift, lower, exhale to the back. Breathe in, go forward, lift, lower, exhale to the back. Inhale forward, lift, lower, exhale back. The shoulder and the arm is working. If you have hyperextended elbow, please keep it slightly soft as you're pressing on the circle. 2 more, forward, up, down, and back. And 1 more, forward, lift, lower, and back. Lay the circle down. We're going to do that lovely rotation. So now I've got both legs in the air. My right leg is behind, my left leg is slightly to the front. I'm going to put the left leg on the floor slightly in the front, roll over towards my left elbow and right hand. You can also put your elbows both on the floor if you need to. And the right leg is kicking back, and my head is proud, my posture is proud. And as I push back my right leg, I feel that I'm supporting that push by contracting my abs in the front of my body so that this leg doesn't take me into a spine movement. Keeping it out of the picture. I kind of lost count, so let's just do 2 more. And then we're coming back and lie back down. This time it's going to be a bit of work. We're going to keep the left leg on the floor so it's not lifted. The right arm is going to stay on the circle. The right leg will come forward. The work will be evident in your right arm. You're going to try to hold it there. If you have to stop after 10, please take care of yourselves. We go down to the floor and up with the right leg. 2 and lift. And 3 and lift. Not so easy. 4 and lift. Don't move your torso. Don't move your right shoulder or arm. Lift, lift. 10, I think that's 10. And again we go. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 19, and 20, and we bend. So I think the shoulder and elbow worked probably harder than the glute did there. So we're going to do just a little more glutes. Straighten both legs out to 45, or not to 45, to your feet at the front corner of your mat, so you're a little bit piped in your hip. And raise up your right foot and look at the toes. So this is where I want you to take your head out of alignment and look down at your feet. Make your right foot go forward about 4 inches or so. Bring it up and around. Make a circle about 12 inches and keep that foot hovering over the other leg. Do not turn the leg out in the socket of the hip. Keep this a parallel circle. Just like if you were standing, you would be tracing a small circle on the floor right under your right foot. Go 5 more, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bring it forward to the other foot, and then reverse it, pushing back and up, and 2 and around, and 3 and lift. 4 passes through, and 5 up and around. Keep the parallel foot, keep reaching with your big toe joint on your right foot. 2 more times. And 10, and that worked actually all the muscles all the way around the hip. I feel it in the front, feel it on the side. So let's go do just a little bit of hip opening. We're gonna do keeping hand on pelvis, open your hip line, and notice how that feels. Can you go farther? Can you go, if you go farther, do you take your whole body with you? Or do you stop the body and feel the crease in the leg line? This is a nice feeling where you feel like you're pushing that knee open, opening the front of your hip and feeling how far your range of motion is. Keeping the knee down, let's do internal rotation. We're getting the knees to stay together and the foot is going up. Put your hand on the side of your hip and you should feel your bone moving right underneath your hand. So the bone kind of escapes when I put my foot up, and it reappears when I put my foot back down. And keep going again. That's really good to strengthen internal rotators and hips. 2 more times. I feel the work and pushing against my own limit. And last one. Because you're working against your own muscle strength, I feel I don't think you can overdo it. It's not like you're pulling a weight. You're just using your own resistance. Okay, so let's do a pure figure 4 stretch. We're going to stretch piriformis first, so the leg is going to stay. The support leg will be on the floor here. Don't bring it up yet. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, flex the right foot so your tendons are protected and you are not digging your ankle bone into your foot. So put your hand in your leg line and do a knee open and close, just like we did doing we have done clamshells before. You're kind of working the movement in the right hip joint in turnout with a moderate hold or a moderate stretch in the hip. So we push out the leg. So for me, I feel kind of tired in the front of my hip. I feel that is a place that needs some stretching, which I'm surprised I feel. So now I'm going to pull my left leg forward and try to grab onto the back of my left thigh, keeping the neck long, trying to keep my right foot pressed so that it's flexed so that by protecting my tendons, pushing out on my right knee to open the hip, pulling inward on my left leg, trying to stay in neutral spine. Do not let the pulling of the left leg in collapse your back. Keep it isolated. Roll a little bit towards your left. Feel that stretch increase in the in the right hip. And then we undo this, roll forward up to a seated position, and just take hold of the circle the other way, lying down on your right arm. Circle is out in front on your left arm. We're going to do just the lift of both legs and do the first part of the exercise with the leg in the air. Both legs are lifted off the mat in a nice straight line with your body, not very high. Lifting the left leg slightly off the right, the foot is relaxed in the ankle. We bring the left leg forward, breathing in, feeling the work in the shoulder, lift and lower the leg, and then bring the leg to the back with an exhale. It's really easy when you bring the leg back to bend the knee. So keep the sense that your upper hip, right by your glute, is where you're perceiving this push of the leg back behind you. We go forward, lift, lower, and exhale, bring it to the back. And breathe in, go forward, and lift, and lower, and exhale to the back. And breathe in, forward, lift, lower, and exhale to the back. And breathe in, forward, up, down, and exhale back. Keep going and forward, up, down, and exhale back. 2 more. And forward, up, down, and back. And last one, forward, lift, lower, bring it to the back, leave the foot behind. Put the circle down on the floor. Put your left hand on the floor. Your right elbow is where you're supporting. Your left leg is behind. You're looking at the floor between your hands. And we're going to push that left leg back 1 and push it 2. And every time you push it back, feel the resistance of the torso against that push. And this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, this is 10. Lying back down, take hold of the circle. The right leg is going to be now on the floor. Arm will be back on the circle to get ready for these drops. Bringing the left leg to the front. Now we're bringing the left leg in. We go down and up. And 2 and lift. 3 and lift. And 4 and lift. 5 lift. 6 lift. 7 lift. Don't move the torso. Keep the leg as far forward as you can keep it. Stretching your hamstring. And 2 and 3 and 4. Getting warmer now. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And bring it back and bend the knees. And we're done with the circle for this one. Let's do an opening of the hip for 1 time. So, or actually we did this about 2 or 3 times, exploring your range. So we're just pushing and opening the hip, noticing when you push the knee back, does it take the whole body with you and roll you to your back, or can you isolate it from the torso? Keep that sensation of a really strong glute trying to push the knee farther and farther away. Do one more like that, pushing open. Good, and then we're gonna keep the knees together. Knees are still bent, and we do internal rotation for 10. And then hand is a little bit farther down on the hip. I like to feel this bone moving. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. I don't usually feel this feeling. I'm not aware of this trochanter moving this way. No, it's something, it's just your outer hip bone. You don't really think of it changing. Keep going. Let's do 4 more. And really push and squeeze that internal rotation. Squeeze it. And last one. And we're done with that. Okay, last exercise. You're on the back of your mat. Your feet are at the front corner of the mat. Your hand is on the floor in the left arm. You're looking down at your feet, so your head is out of its normal alignment. Raise up your left foot slightly off, and then bring that left foot forward and start to make a shape of a circle about 12 inches in diameter. Keep going. I think this is 8 for me. My circle isn't as even on this side and smooth as it is on the other going this direction. Finishing your circle, go backwards and circle up and around and forward. One direction might feel smoother slightly, but I don't have the skill on this side from injury and arthritis that I do on my other sides, but I'm still gonna try to do a really perfect circle. I'm just watching myself do it and make it better and better. And this is my last one for 10, and now I am kind of fatigued in there. Let's roll over to the back and do a moderate figure 4 first with the right leg on the floor. The left knee is bent, ankle over the right knee with the foot flexed on the left side. And then you're gonna just worry this hip joint a little bit by pulling in and out on the left leg, making the leg go open and then internal and then external and then rotate internal. 2 more, external and back, and 1 more time, and keep that pressure outward on the leg to feel more stretch here. I definitely feel this in a different place on my other leg. I'll have to explore that a little bit more. Then holding that stretch, reach forward, grab onto the back of the right thigh and flex your left foot and settle in. And let your neck be long and feel that flex foot. Pull the right leg in towards you a little bit more, feeling the stretch in the left hip. And then roll a tiny bit over to the right side and pull in at the same time. Remember to keep your neutral back. Don't let your low back imprint. You will lose ground on the stretch. This is better to isolate it, to keep that whole back out of the picture. Excellent. Okay, so now let's take our circle. We're going to do a little bit of upper back extension using the circle. I'm going to move my mat a little. So I'm holding on to the circle on my stomach, holding on to the circle. I'm on my elbows, heels of hands. If your low back is lovely and not strained or have other difficulties with it, you can probably put your elbows directly under your shoulders and have your upper back be lifted a little bit higher. My low back takes that, so I'm going to move my arms away from my shoulders and have a little bit lower chest, but I'm still going to be working my upper back as if I'm trying to look forward towards the circle, drawing my navel in towards my spine. My shoulders are anchored away from my ears, flexing the right foot, kicking 2 times, pointed as it goes down. Flex, kick, and point. Flex, kick, and point. And as I flex, kick, and point, I'm really trying not to be jostled by the kick. It's really hard to stabilize my torso when my leg is making a ballistic movement. And the only anchor I have is the front of my hip, one leg, and my elbows and hands to stabilize. And my intention, of course. Good, rest. Put yourself down, put your hands under your shoulders, push yourself back to open up your low back. And just breathe in the stretch for a moment. Now let's come back and do the second part of the exercise. We're going to have the circle. If this is hard, Nicole, to do this, just mock it up or mimic it without holding onto the circle at the back. So you just would have one hand over the top of the other hand and keep that feeling of your open shoulder in the front. Let's everyone turn your face to the right. So you're on your left side of head. Your elbows are trying to relax and your shoulders are trying to relax to the floor. I'm holding onto my circle with my elbows bent. So the circle is kind of in the middle of my back. One part of the circle is on my tush. The other part is up in the middle of my back, and the open space is right by my waist. I'm going to kick 3 times with both legs together, kicking 1, 2, 3. As I lengthen my legs, I lift up my back and stretch my arms backwards and open my shoulders as if I'm kind of flying. My abs are really held in here. Turn your head to the left, elbows relax, kicking 3 with both feet, 2 and 1, and push back and lift the back. Head turns right, kicking 3, 2 and 1, and stretch back and lift your back. And to the left with the head, kicking 3, 2, 1. Can the shoulders relax every time, or do they stay tense? See if you can focus on more than one thing at a time. To the left with the head. After this, we have 1 more set. And to the right with the head, kicking 3, 2, 1, and stretch back. And to the left, kicking 3, 2, 1, and stretch back and hold. Release one hand off the circle. Take the circle out to the side with the other hand. Bring your arms into a T floating off the mat and lower your feet to the floor. We're going to do a reach with the right arm going towards your right foot. The left arm is going over your head, and you're bending your body to the right. And then come out of that and go to your T again, hovering off the floor, looking straight at the floor. Then turn your head to your left shoulder as your left arm reaches for your left foot and your right arm reaches over your head. Come back, looking at the floor, keeping the back of the neck long. Don't look forward, just look straight under your eyes. And we go the other side again. Right arm reaches as the right side reaches as you look to your right shoulder. Come back, hovering. This is hard work on the upper back. We go to the other side, reaching left as you look to your left shoulder, right arm over your head. Oh my goodness, so much work. Hands under shoulders, push back. This time we're ready for a stretch. Up with your pelvis. Ooh la la. And let's have this be a tractioning for your back. So feel as though one part of you is suspended, the other part of you is trying to stretch your spine. So I feel like, or rather, let's feel like my hands are anchored. And then my pelvis is trying to reach higher to the ceiling. So it's forcing my back into a bit of a stretch. Taking my left arm through underneath my chest, and then lay my left side of head down on the mat and feel like I'm still taking this stretch somewhere in my shoulder. This is mostly for your back traction and for the stretch between your spine at your shoulder girdle level, across the back of the shoulder out to the outside of the left arm. And then we're going to bend the left elbow. No, let's not do that. That didn't really add anything, and it's a little awkward. Let's take ourselves out of there, stretch straight forward into a parallel position. Take the right arm, thread it through underneath your chest, and lay the right side of the head down on the mat. And feel the right shoulder coming down as well. One side might feel easier to twist than the other. So on this side, I don't feel my shoulder as much down as I should, as I did on my left side, which tells me this is the way my spine does not want to twist. So I'm working on mobility on this side, a little more flexibility, a little more length. Now I come out of there, and let's try something. It's a little bit crazy, but let's try it anyway. You're gonna take your circle, you're putting it on your back in a quadruped position. So If you want to put an extra kneeling pad under your knee, you can do that. So I kind of can't feel where the handle is on my upper back. I can only feel where the handle is on my low back. And I'm hoping my upper back handle is centered. And my circle is just, where can I say this? It's just below my waistline in the back. I'm going to try not to move the circle at all in my quadruped. I'm going to slide my right leg behind me, keep my toe on the floor, bring my left arm forward, elevate my right leg. The circle is staying steady. And then I'm going to swing both sets back in to have everything on the floor. The left leg is going back. The foot will stay on the floor. The right arm goes forward. Once the right arm is forward, the left leg will raise a little bit. If you raise it too high, you're going to dump that circle onto the floor. Then we're going to put the foot down, slide back. Simultaneous movement of right leg and left arm. Reach. Feel that tiny shift of the sensation of the circle on your back. Come back to center. Go to the other side. Left leg, right arm reaches out. Feel that tiny shift of the muscle contraction, probably of your butt, on the lowest part of the circle. But you also have some differences in the upper. Let's go one more set. Keeping that circle balanced on your back and the other way. Good, and then come back. Take the circle out from there, and let's try a challenging little exercise called open leg rocker. We're going to try to do that with the circle. So if you do not want to do open leg rocker, if you don't feel like doing the actual exercise or don't roll, you can do the holding of the position, which would be kind of like a teaser. So we're going to take a stretch first. The circle will be near us. You're going to take your legs into your arms and then hold yourself in a seated position. So I'm behind my sit bones. My chest is lifted. I'm not collapsing. My arms are hugging each other. My elbows or my knees are close to my elbows. My feet don't have to touch. Try to straighten a leg and bend it, and try to straighten a leg and bend it. You're alternating legs. Keep going. Don't let your low back react to the straightening of the leg. If you feel like right about here, you start to collapse in your chest to get the leg straight, that is not the goal. The goal is to see how far can I get the leg straight without compromising my back, because it's required in the exercise to either be rolling onto it or to be straight. Okay, now look back behind you, make sure you have enough mat to roll onto. You're not going to hit anything. And let's try to take this challenge. It's not so easy. We're going to bring our legs back and place your circle inside your ankles. And then hold on to the backs of your knees. Not so easy just to do that part. All right, straighten your legs as much as you can and try to reach for your calf muscle. Not too high. Keep your shoulders back and down, Gail. So nice and straight here and flat. And then when you look at your navel, you're going to round and roll back. And see if you can roll back up and find your balance. Ooh, it's hard. And we roll again. Find your balance. You have a little extra weight at the end of your feet, so you're going to roll up a little bit more efficiently. You have to control that additional help. We go again. Don't look back. Don't straighten your back. Look at your navel as you roll. Good, Bonnie. Look up. Yes. 2 more. Looking at my team, seeing what I have to work on. Okay, rest for a moment. All right, I saw a couple of things. I would like to work on this if I can. So, Barry, I want you to lock your geometry. So what I don't want to see happen is I don't want to see you bending your knees here and then straightening your legs there. I want you to feel like, oh my God, even if you don't make it up, I want you to start to do a really straight leg. So let's see everybody do that again. Very nice. Hands to the calf muscles, not the thighs and the cloud. Bring them up to your calves, a little higher, and we roll. Controller up. Yes, straighten those knees, better Barry. You got it, girl. Excellent. Last one. Very good. Excellent. So let's take a 90-man stretch at the very end like we did at the beginning, and we will be done. So put your left foot in the circle. Take your left arm out to the side. That was excellent, by the way. I got a chance to see you on the big screen doing that open leg rocker. Let's bring the the left leg across the body to the right, and just breathe. And keeping your eyes open if you can. Every time you exhale, I'd like you to see that your leg actually gives a little bit. It actually lets go just a little every time you exhale. It doesn't feel any different. In fact, if you're not feeling anything, pull the leg up a little closer to your face. Do not let your left hip come off your mat. We're going to take an inner thigh stretch after this, but for now, let's put the right foot in the circle, left leg down on the mat. Left hand holds a circle, right arm out to the side. Let's go across the body. Notice the tension. It should be warmer and looser now. And then every time you exhale, notice a little bit more relaxation in that outer band. If you keep your eyes open, you will see this. If you keep your eyes closed, it won't feel any different. You may not notice that your leg is way across the body because it feels just the same. Pulling it up a little to your head to increase that stretch there. Let's take the circle out from there. Bring your arms inside your legs, holding onto your ankles with your elbows on the inside of your knees. I'd like to keep your back, if possible, in neutral. So that may mean your legs go away from you a little bit and not hugged real close in toward your chest. Notice if you can press out on your knees and make your knees open more, and maybe it brings your feet closer to your face when you do that. Does each hip feel the same? Keeping this width, let go of your ankles, straighten your legs, and keep your hands pressing on the inside of your thighs. Adjust your position to feel an additional stretch. I'm actually supporting my legs with my hands, and I'm also adding a stretch into them. So I'm kind of hugging my hands to the inside of my knee joint. And then I'm going to flex my feet and take more stretch on that inner line and open those hips out. Fold the heels back in again. Roll over to your side and come up to seated. And we didn't do any spine stretch or twist today, but that's okay. We'll hit that another day. Thank you very much. We'll see you Thursday, I hope. Bye.